How's it going, everybody? So, for the longest time, I've wondered who exactly the Mayans were. I mean, we all know the cool pyramids and the language, but like, why are they differentiated from the Aztecs, for example, if they both resided in Mexico, ancient Mexico that is? And does that mean that their mythology is different? Well, turns out, yes and yes. So, let me introduce you to the Mayan Mythical Beings. But before that, let's do a quick overview of the whole Mayan belief system. So the Mayans, as one of the first civilizations, existed for about 3.5 millennia and lived further south than the Aztecs. Their king was the supreme leader and held almost a divine status. And they believed, of course, in a supernatural realm in which the dead ancestors would intercede on behalf of the living. Mayan heaven had 13 levels and the underworld 9. And yeah, there was also human sacrifice. It's also important to note that the Mayan deities were closely related to the calendar and astrology, so their characteristics were broader than usual and changed based on the season and the movement of the stars. Now, that's not gonna stop us from exploring a couple of their deities. You ready? First of all, Itzamna is one of the most important deities associated with the sky. He is also a creator god, meaning he at least took part in creating our world. And depending on the season, he could also represent rain or medicine. One theory says that his name could be translated to sorcerer, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? However, in the Dresden Codex, he is also depicted as some sort of a serpent or a crocodile. Man, unsure sources surely do produce uncertain results. Awilix was the goddess of the moon and the night. Well, most researchers consider this deity female. Anyway, she also represented the underworld, and by extension, all the bad things, right? Disease, death, you know the drill. Fun fact, she was also the patron of the Mayan ball game, a really cool ancient sport which some people practice even today. So definitely check it out if you haven't heard about it before. Another important deity was Yopaat, associated with storms and bearing a weapon resembling a thunderbolt, but supposedly made out of flint. So he was responsible for thunderstorms and earthquakes as well. I mean, I think people pray to him to avoid them. That would make sense, right? And I would love to share the etymology of his name, but I don't want to get demonetized. So you'll just have to look it up yourself. As always, all of my sources are in the description. Cuisine had also something to do with earthquakes, but his main thing was death. Look, someone had to do it. Adding insult to injury, his name is translated as the Stinking One. So it's just sad at this point. So let's move on. Now, the hero twins aren't exactly deities, but sort of like mythical, well, heroes. They are the protagonists of the oldest fully preserved Mayan myth we know of today. They represent basically duality. You know, the sun and the moon, life and death, day and night, stuff like that. They can also be considered the legendary ancestors of past Mayan rulers. But either way, I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that we have written stories preserved from the ancient Mayan times. And that's just incredible to me. And they are definitely worth checking out. Okay, let's kick the speed up a notch. Next up, we have Camazotz, the bad deity, and also the inspiration for Batman. Okay, I'm just kidding. At least about the second part. His name literally means the death bed. and even the hero twins encountered bat-like monsters which are supposed to represent this deity. King Itzamna is the sun god. Now, some people may think of Itzamna as the sun god, but this deity is the real deal. Well, actually, he's also sometimes considered one of the aspects of Itzamna, and because he's a high being, even sometimes depicted as one of the Mayan rulers, this theory kind of makes sense, right? And Chak is the rain deity, associated with Yopaat. He produces rain by striking clouds with his axe. This deity is often portrayed as four figures looking out in the four cardinal directions, and its body is usually covered in scales. Nice touch. Yumkash, literally the Lord of the Forest, really likes spending time in nature. You know, he represents the flora and the fauna, the usual. He is also supposed to give luck to hunters, if he wishes, of course. That's why he was considered one of the most important deities. After all, his blessings helped the Mayan people actually gather food, and thus survive. Some sorcerers even gave advice on behalf of Yumkash, of course related to hunting. So apparently, if you wanted to have your own place to hunt, you had to select your own private hunting ground, kill a deer and cut off his head, and then drag the head around the hunting ground and bury the head with its liver. Well, see you in a couple of minutes, I guess. And finally, I have a fun one for you. Akkad was the god of tattooing, as this process was very important for the Mayans. Sometimes his name was even translated to inkstand. And, well, at least we know who to turn to when we're getting our first tattoo. And that's all for today. The whole Mayan belief system, and the religion and mythology, and also the astrology, there's so much of it, and it's often quite confusing. But I hope that at least you liked what you saw, and that now you have a better understanding of the differences between the Aztec and the Mayan mythical beings. If you're still unsure, you can check out my previous video, this one. But most importantly, thank you so much for watching this video, and see you some other time.